In this episode of What's Going On with Shipping, it was only a matter of time till we got to them. But here we are, pirates. And not the pirates you traditionally thinking about. We're talking about pirates who have hacked us. ARG. This is the Cyber Pirate edition of What's Going On with Shipping. Hi, I'm Sal Mercagliano, Associate Professor of History at Campbell University, a former merchant mariner, and an instructor in maritime industry policy at the U.S. Merchant Marine Academy. And I am a pirate. I am a pirate. I am a pirate from East Carolina. Did my master's at East Carolina University, home of the pirates. So I am a pirate, and I am qualified to talk about pirates beyond the fact that I was a merchant mariner and studied maritime history. I am actually one. So today what we're going to talk about is a event that happened here just the other day, but it's been ongoing in the maritime industry and one that needs to be talked about. And this is a form of piracy. This is not the Somali pirates off the east coast of Africa capturing Captain Phillips, or the really rampant piracy right now off the west coast of Africa, which is killing people off the coast of Nigeria, which we will talk about later on. I guarantee you that. But what I want to talk about today is an issue that involves cyber piracy. So this is a story that came out from G-Captain. HMM confirmed cyber attack on email system. HMM is the former Hyundai Merchant Marine. Now they've just condensed it down to HMM, one of the largest shipping lines in the world, undergoing a huge expansion right now. And they reported a cyber attack on their email system. Basically, an unidentified security breach was detected, according to HMM, which led to limited access to the email Outlook system in certain areas. It said that by yesterday, most of the confined damage had been restored. No data leakage had been found. This is part of a continued effort we've seen attacking merchant companies, maritime companies. We know about the Colonial Pipeline breach. We know about the meatpacking breach, but this has been going on for quite a while. And one of the things that we're seeing with these cyber breaches is the shipping companies are particularly vulnerable to this. Again, top 10 shipping firms in the world control 85% of the world's container stock. And containerization in particularly makes it ripe for attacks for a variety of reasons. Okay, many of you may have noticed on my back shelf over here sits this model. This is a Lego model of a Maersk EE container ship. Built this with my son a couple of years ago. Maersk came out with this along with Lego, both Danish companies, and they came out with this model. This is when the EE came out. Now, it's not to scale by any means. Actually, the Maersk EE carries many more containers than this. But why am I bringing out a Lego model to talk about cyber piracy? Well, understand cyber attacks on container companies don't always attack the emails happen with HMM. For example, in 2016, Maersk got hit by a virus called the NotPeyta virus, which I'll talk about in a second. That attacked all aspects of them. Understand, a modern container ship loading these boxes. Again, we're talking about the Maersk EEs at the time carrying 18,000 boxes. Ever Given carries about 20,000 boxes, whereas some of the ships being built today are 24,000 boxes. All these boxes have to be weighed, measured, the contents thought about, and then an offload plan. You can't offload a container way down deep in the bottom of the ship at a port and have to move all these containers out of the way to get at it. So you need to have a lot of planning involved here. And most importantly, when the ships arrive, the container cranes are got to come down and start moving containers almost immediately. All these boxes are loaded in a sequence to come on and off the vessel. You would do cells in different areas. What the cyber attacks do is take those load plans and wipe them away. So that now, instead of this nice clean load you have here, when you show up in port, you don't know what box has to come off. You don't know what order they have to come off. You don't know what boxes have to go on. You may be putting improper loads next to each other. You may be putting hazardous material next to other hazardous material. You may be loading too many reefer containers, these white boxes here, versus the other containers on board. So, take these Lego boxes off, jumble them up in a pile, and now you got to figure out how to put them back on. It's like doing a jigsaw puzzle, but not only is it upside down so you can't see what the image is, but you're blindfolded and you have to figure it out by that. That's going to slow you down to a crawl. And that is what these cyber attacks do. You don't have to cripple the maritime industry by hacking, by the typical way. One of the things that I do a lot with the military, and I talk about the commercial industry with the military all the time. And one of the things the military loves to think about commercial is, well, we'll go back to World War II, submarine sinking a ship like this on the high seas. You can take the ship like this out of service almost immediately with a cyber attack. A cyber attack on its ability to load, a cyber attack on its machinery, a cyber attack on its electronics. Many of these ships have uplinks with their engine rooms so that the data from the engine room is being recorded and uplinked by satellite. Cyber attacks are extremely detrimental to the commercial firm. Used to be ships were whole self-contained entities that carried the cranes. They would show up in port and be able to do everything from them. And the personnel on board oversaw the cargo. They did it. All this is now off in offices ashore. And ships are data linked all the time for communication, for upload, so that when they arrive in port, basically all the crew is doing is checking off what boxes are coming out of what cells and what new boxes are coming on. Sometimes I don't even know what's going on. Look at the Express Pearl for an example of that. And that's a 15 or an 1800 box vessel. Maersk's triple E's are 18, the new improved triple E's are 20,000 boxes. But again, we're building HMM, for example, we're building 24,000 box vessels right now. So this is a story on what happened to Maersk, and it was in 2017. I apologize. I think I said 2016. 2017, when the NotPeyta virus hit them. And what you see here, this is their talk that they gave. This was just a really interesting talk given by the AP Moeller, which is the owner of Maersk. Their chief information security officer, Andrew Powell, talked about this. And one of the things he said here, and I'll come down to the quote, any company doing business in Ukraine filing a tax return in 2017 was hit. Powell said, very big companies in the U.S. got hit hard, two of them harder than us. Powell declined to name the corporations, did not elaborate on how he came to know about these organizations, NotPeyta incidents. All told, estimates indicate the attack and recovery effort cost Maersk nearly $300 million to date. And then I want to go down here and talk about what exactly happened. Maersk wasn't prepared to cope with the attack. In early 2017, he says its cybersecurity maturity, like many other manufacturing logistics companies, was relatively low. And what he says here goes on. So once a Maersk user in its Odessa office was infected, it spread throughout the Maersk global network faster than anyone imagined. Within 7 minutes, most of the damage was done. And the damage was staggering. NotPeyta destroyed 49,000 laptops, more than 1,000 applications, all printing and file sharing services were knocked offline. What proved to be especially devastating was that both its primary and backup Active Directory systems were taken out, a scenario Maersk never thought possible. NotPeyta was designed to destroy online backup specifically, preventing recovering using backup methods. We had no copies of our Active Directory. We thought we had nothing to restart the network with. Maersk's entire shipping network was destroyed. Entire shipping network. The entire network was taken offline. Again, Maersk is the largest container company in the world. Their interface was linked together in a way that made it efficient commercially. I mean, again, you can't put a lot of firewalls and barriers up as you do in defense industry because you have to be able to communicate. And since Maersk is a worldwide presence, a worldwide network, this is what we saw. Why is it that Maersk was not devastated by this? By a chance of just pure luck as they go on here. Fortunately, a stroke of luck came when IT leaders learned that the company's Lagos office that's in Nigeria had suffered a power outage during the attack. Its IT systems, including a copy of the company's Active Directory, was undamaged. So if not for a power outage in Lagos, Nigeria, the entire Maersk system would have been taken down. And what we've seen since this attack is repeated other attacks. The IMO, the International Maritime Organization, which I'm going to talk about in another video coming up shortly, was hit. We've seen repeated, I don't want that one, I'm sorry, repeated cyber attack on COSCO. COSCO is the Chinese shipping line. COSCO is hit. CMA CGM had a breach. Mediterranean Shipping Company. These are all the major, I mean, the huge, massive shipping lines we've seen targeted and hit by these cyber attacks. And, one of the things that I did in a tweet today was just talking about, somebody post something about Sealift and how we support the military in time of war. one of the ideas here is, well, if there's a war in the Far East with a, an unnamed nation, we've got allied navies we can call upon. We can call upon Evergreen. That's Taiwanese. We can call on ONE. That's Korean. We can call on who else here? HMM, which is Korean. HMM's Korean, Evergreen's Taiwanese, ONE is Japanese. Make sure I said that right. So, I mean, Yangmin too is also Taiwanese. So we can call on them to help us. But what happens if they get hit by a targeted cyber breach? Now, most of these smaller breaches have not been as catastrophic. They've been ransomware attacks, similar to what we saw with the Colonial Pipeline. But the Maersk hit, the NotPeyta virus, which came out of Russia and the Ukraine area, it was believed that the Ukrainian offices had been infected, and that's what spread it throughout the network. If you target that, that's catastrophic. And again, what you can do, again, if you're assailant in a peer-to-peer conflict in the Pacific, is a country the size of, for example, China, with the influence of China, they can basically tell shipping companies, hey, we've infected your systems. You've got a virus in all your ships, all your offices, and we're going to trigger it unless you agree not to support the United States. And what does that do? What does that take out away from the United States in terms of service? These asymmetric style of attacks are how you undermine shipping today. And shipping, because of the global nature and because of the just in, just out, the rapid need to move goods, makes it more dependent on being connected to shore than ever before. These are not ships that are sole independent units that are not connected all the time. Engines are connected. All this kind of material is connected all the time, and we're getting more autonomous as we go forward. I'm a big believer that I don't think we'll ever see completely unmanned vessels in terms of commercial shipping because of insurance issues. But I do believe that we are, reducing crew size, becoming much more dependent on readouts and technology like that. And the NotPeyta virus in particularly shows this. Some of these attacks are just small scale, what you would see corporations do. But again, when you look at something like what happened with the Colonial Pipeline and the fear, this is what causes the shutdown all the time. This doesn't have to just hit shipping lines too. It can hit ports. It can hit distribution firms, you name it. And that's why this issue is of such significance that we need to have it on everyone's visibility. So maybe not the pirate episode you were hoping to hear about, and I apologize. We had no Jack Sparrows. We had no walking the plank at all. But this is a style of attack that's been going on that we need to be aware of. And these styles of attacks do happen with a fair frequency in the shipping industry. Happened late spring in 2020, late year 2020, when we saw this happen again. And it can happen again at the most inopportune times. And they target this. And these ransomware attacks, like we saw on the Colonial Pipeline, can also be happening throughout the shipping industry. And again, that's the style of asymmetric threats that exist in the world today that we have very little control on. When you put up barriers and protection against them, it tends to slow the system down. And that's not what we like to see in the shipping industry. So I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please subscribe to the channel. We've got a growing base of people who are watching the videos, and I appreciate that greatly. If you like the video, share it with friends, let them know about it. Also hit that thumbs up button so it gets some likes, and then it gets spread across the YouTube network. And also hit the bell so that when new videos come out, you'll be alerted. So this is Sal McCragliano signing off from our pirate edition of What's Going On with Shipping. Until next time, signing off.